Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but I just want to show you guys something that I've learned to do with paper. Okay, so this is a paper making craft. I am going to eventually start moving into some other crafting, probably some resin crafting, some leather making crafting, and maybe even I'll show you guys how I go about making some soaps. Okay, but today we're doing a paper craft. I learned this procedure by watching Natasha on Treasure Books. So basically, and she learned it from someone else. I don't remember who she mentioned in her video, but it's really a cool concept on how to create either a journal spine or a like a card holder. Okay, look at this right here. I'm sure you can tell by the thumbnail that I was probably making a card, but today it's not a card. It's a card holder. At least that's what I'm using it for, because I have to make one for one of my very good friends. Her name is Aja. She lives out in Arizona. Her birthday's coming up, so every year for her birthday we throw a huge bash in the desert. And with that, she invites probably around 50 people to her party, and she always gets a ton of cards, right? So let's just say 40 to 50 cards. Now, I'm not going to make a card holder to hold 40 or 50 cards. I am probably going to make one so that she can probably store about 18 to 24 cards or so. But of course, you can make this. This is a very versatile project. You can make it to hold as many cards as you want. Not everyone gives her a card. Some people just hand her a gift, and cards aren't really included with it. But she saves all of her cards from year after year. So we've been doing this. This is our 6th year. This is going on our 7th year actually. Since 2019 we've been meeting up for her birthday. So this is her going on her 7th year of having cards. So I just really wanted her to find a way to store all of the cards that she's collected over the years, and this is what I came up with because I watched Natasha's video, and this is a really cool concept. Now, I've made something similar in the past. Okay, if I can find the video, I'll link it up here in the top. If I cannot, just look for accordion style, I don't know, what did I call that? I have the project right here. I could probably just show it to you, but it's basically, I took a book cover and added accordions to it, and basically it's just a way to store things inside of an accordion style type of storage box. But I'm going to show you guys how I did this based on Natasha's instructions. These are my prototypes, and I'm going to tell you, this is not a good example of a prototype. Okay, so it took me several tries to get it right. This is wrong. Just know that this one is wrong. All right, I'm using paper because I've tried cardstock, and cardstock is too stiff to get the project across the finish line, and it's just really difficult to fold and bend and whatnot. Now, this project does not require any measuring, but I am going to show you how to do it with my scoreboard, because that's how I found the best results. You don't have to use a scoreboard if you don't have one, or a 12 by 12 scoreboard. If you have a, I don't know, a 7 by 5 scoreboard, you can attempt to do it that way, but I am going to be using 12 by 12 paper and 12 by 6 paper. So this is also how I've done it with 8.5 by 11 paper. 8.5 by 11 worked out pretty good. This is just copy weight paper, and the folds came out a little bit easier than it did with the cardstock. And even this is 12 by 12 paper, but I just could not get it right. I don't know what was going through my head, where I was just like, oh, just fold, 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 fold. But no, it just did not, it did not come out. This is so wrong. Natasha would be very disappointed if I told her I followed her instructions and I got this. And again, cardstock is not the best option for this project. So this is cardstock 8.5 by 11. This is cardstock 12 by 12. This is copy weight paper, which is probably the best solution for this project. but this is only 8.5 by 11. And of course you can use this because this will definitely hold some cards, and I'll grab some cards just to show you guys like how it all fits in there. But yeah, this is just all the wrong ways to do it, maybe with the exception of this one. But yeah, I am going to show you guys how I finally got this right, and I'm gonna tell you, if you're doing more than 2 or 3, your fingers are gonna start to hurt because there's a lot of folding involved. This is one of my prototypes that I'm working on, and this is 12 by 12, somewhat non-directional paper. I mean, you can use directional paper, it does not matter. Once you fold it all up, you really can't tell too much of the difference. But let's just say this is a card. Let's just say someone gave you a card. It's what is this? This is a 6 by 8.25 inch card. That's a huge card. That's bigger than most, okay? And this fits directly in here, just like so. Okay, yes, it's a little bit bigger because this is actually going to be my cover, but an 8-inch card can fit into this pocket right there that I've made. It's a slot basically. This is going to be my cover on this side, as is this one is the cover on the back. So yeah, I just put a strip of paper on the spine of the collection of folds, and this would have been my front cover. I've made this expandable, right? So this spine is too big for just this. Okay, so here is what it would look like. Right, I've left enough room for 2 more of these, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm referring to. So let's just say I have 2 more in there. This would then become my spine, and my front cover, and my spine's in place. I'll just glue that to there, or basically on the outside, and there you have that, which is exactly what I showed you guys in the thumbnail. Was this guy, which I think I'm going to use to give to Aja as her birthday present, or her card holding present. So yeah, I was just going to place this on here like so, and in here I have all of these little slots that she can stuff a bunch of cards into. So I'll show you guys exactly how I made this based on just a few folds and tucks and, you know, tuck and rolls and all of that. There's so many different ways you can do it. There's so many different sizes you can do it in. As you can see, the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper is a little bit larger than the 12 by 12. Okay, here's another 8.5 by 11. Again, it's a little bit larger than the 12 by 12, and this is another 12 by 12. So if you're using 8.5 by 11, great. If that's all you have, use it. If you have 12 by 12 paper, go ahead and use it. But I'm using up my paper packs, not my cardstock packs, because paper works better. This is just paper. All right, so let me stop gapping and just get into the instructions on how to make one. This is my junk journal that I've been working in, so I'm just gonna move it out of the way for now and grab some paper. So I have here on my desk some non-directional, not so pretty paper. It's a little you know, it is pretty. I think every paper is pretty, but this is just some non-directional paperweight paper. So I'm going to show you guys what I do to create the score marks for those folds that we talked about. And there are two sets of score marks that you'll be making. Okay, I'm just trying to find the side that fits best onto the scoreboard. Obviously 12 by 12 paper is not always 12 by 12 exactly. It is like 12 by 12 in a you know. So on my scoreboard I have here 12 by 12 perfectly lined up, because that's how much space I have in here. If I were to flip this over, it'll just be a little bit too much. Like, see that? It just like bubbles up in the corner over there. I'm sure you guys know, because you guys are paper crafters and and you've experienced this. So I'm scoring it because folds also work. You don't need a scoreboard. You can just fold it in the same measurements that I'm giving you right now. All right, and again, this is a 12 by 12. There's also measurements for a 12 by 6. Okay, and there are measurements for scoring every 2 inches as opposed to scoring every 3 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna do the first one scored at every 3 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna score here at 3, I'm gonna score here at 6, and then 9. Okay, and that's it. Okay, that's all we need to start this project. All right, I'm then gonna fold on all of those score marks. So I'm just gonna fold here at the 6 mark, okay, just to get my page centered. And just looking at it, okay, everything's lined up nice and evenly. So that's the importance of doing the scoreboard versus the folds. I found way more success using the scoreboard because my folds came out like this. Alright, so yeah, I have to show you guys the good and the bad of crafting, because if I only show you the good, then, you know, you won't learn anything. I would not have learned anything, and it would just be, you know, just a fake fun day in the craft room. So this right here gives me this accordion right here. Alright, so if you can imagine, I scored on 3 sections, and it gives me this. If I were to score on 4 sections or 5 sections, it would give me more accordion. All right, so I'd have a larger accordion, and that's what creates the more pockets and folds. So from here, I am just going to fold over this section right here. Can you see that? And I'll just zoom you in real quick. I'm leaving a little gap. There's a little tiny space right here. What you want to do is make sure that this spot and this spot are even. They're the same amount of space. So there's that. And I'm sorry this paper is not the best, but single-sided paper does work best for this project, just so you can see the spacing of your folds. Okay, they're about the same, and that's what's important, so that you don't end up with something that looks this bad. Okay, like I'm so proud of this. I'm proud of the chaos that I created there, and it taught me so much. So you can fold towards you or you can fold away from you. It doesn't really matter. Whatever works for you. Either works for me. I've done it both ways, but you do want to leave a little tiny gap of white paper showing on that side right there, and I'll show you why later. And then you want to do the same thing to the opposite side. Again, you can fold toward away from you, or you can fold it toward you. It doesn't matter, whatever is most comfortable for you, but just make sure that you leave equidistance from the spine of the fold to the tip of the paper as it comes towards the edge here. Okay, so that's it. That's that. I'm just going to fold this section over, and then I'm going to take this corner and I'm going to fold it down as well, because I need this to create that little tuck spot, right? So here's another one. I'm just going to fold it towards me, and again leaving a little tiny space at the center so that this can fold over without getting bunched up in there. So once I folded it this way, I'm then going to flip the whole thing over and fold it back the other way. Why? Because I need this to have a crease that goes either direction, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a moment. Okay, so now we folded this center section twice, once one way and then once another way. Then we're going to open this all up, okay, and we have this. Let's zoom you back out. Okay, so now we have this right here, which is pretty easy so far, right? And here's our flaps, here's the other flap, and this is the center section that we folded in both directions. I'm then going to push this section down and then buckle the center section up. And that's why we folded it in two directions, so that we can get this to tuck underneath here like so, right? This is what we want. And then you fold it all up and you have this boat looking, like a little boat, you know? Doop, 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 doop. Okay, that's what you'll end up with once you're done. And I'm gonna lay it all flat, and I'm gonna go to the front section, well, whichever you want to consider your front section, and I'm now going to do a couple of folds this way and that way. So here, okay, so here's what we had. This is where I got lost. Okay, here's our boat. I'm gonna turn it to the side, open it up to my very first section that has a fold, and I'm just gonna tuck this down like so. Okay, and we want to get a nice tight crease everywhere once we do that first fold. I'm going to flip it over, do the second section as well, same way, fold it over and get a nice tight crease everywhere. Rotate my page and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going really slow so that you guys can really get this. It's so simple to do, and it's such a versatile project that you can totally make anything with it. It can be a junk journal spine, it can be a card holding project, it can be just about anything that you want. And this is just using one sheet of 12 by 12 paper, and now we have ourselves this little guy, right? There is some gluing. You can glue down these flaps here. I glued down all of my flaps on my prototype for the card that I'm making. But yeah, that's about it. That's all you need to do. And I'll show you guys really quickly what I mean. Here, let's say, is a card. I hope this fits, because this is actually a cover that I'm making. So yeah, that fits in there. And you flip it over, and it also fits in here. So all of these are about the same size, and this is why you left that little gap when you folded the page, so that you don't have any buckling here in the middle of the project. Okay, now of course not everything is going to line up 100%, and if you run into the issue where, let's just say, you have this right here, I don't know if you guys can see that, I have a little overhang up here. I'll flip it over, it doesn't really show any better, but see that little overhang? That's fine, cut it off. If I had a scissor, which I can't believe on my desk I don't have a pair of scissors, but yeah, once you glue down that flap, you just snip, just even it up. No one knows, no one's the wiser. All right, so here's our first little thingy majiggy that we cut or folded and created a little tuck spot for cards, pictures, photo, like whatever you have. Like you can totally just tuck them into here and put a cover on the front and the back, which is what I showed you guys with the actual card holder that I made for Aja. If I can find it, that would be awesome. Oh, here it is, right in front of me. So yeah, this is the actual, I haven't glued anything down yet, but this is the same size, 12 by 12, right? Or it would probably either go like this or like this, and then you can then tuck in tons of cards into here like so. And I basically made, I don't know, let's see, how many did I make? One. Oh, this is stuck together. Yeah. Oops. Okay, so yeah, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, my project is still drying. It's been drying overnight. So I made 7 of these, okay? and 7 of these fit into this 1-inch spine, right? This is just a 1-inch spine that I created here, and put some cardstock on either side. Okay, and yeah, so 7 of these small little projects created 1, 2, let's get to counting, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28 pockets. So she can store 28 cards in here, like so, and like so. And I get it, cards are a little bit thicker than the cardstock that I'm using, but I made the cover just a little bit longer, or basically 2 times the size of this spine, or you know, tucker, basically just about 2 times the width of it, so that when she does tuck a card in here, not too much is hanging off the side. Okay, so yeah, you can flip it around this way, you can tuck cards sideways, front ways, back ways, it doesn't really matter, but they'll all fit into here. And she has, what did I say, 22, 24, I don't know, 28. There's several spots for her to tuck cards into, and that's simply by just adding all of these together. And I just glued this last page onto the first page of the other one, right? So that's basically what it is. That's one way of doing this with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Again, 8.5 by 11 works very similar, except it'll be a little bit larger. We're gonna do one that is 12 by 6. And I'll show you what that will create. Actually, let's do one that is 12 by 12 again, but has more, it has more score marks, okay? So again, I'm just gonna find the side of the page that has less buckle in the corner over there. I'm guessing it's this one. Okay, we're gonna do one that's scored at every 2 inches. Last one we did every 3 inches. Let's do one that's scored at every 2 inches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10. So that's 4 score marks. You can even do a 1 inch. You can do 1/2 inch, okay? But you're just gonna have to go every 1/2 inch, or you could do every inch, okay? And do every inch that way. Again, I'm using 12 by 12. We scored it every 2 inches. I'm gonna find my center fold and fold this page back onto itself like so. Okay, that's my center score mark, and then I'm gonna just double check to make sure everything lines up. Okay, and of course when you're scoring, you have to consider that there is a groove is what creates the score. So you just have to fold your page to make sure that the score mark is folded appropriately. And I'm gonna fold here. This is my, let's get that lined up nice and straight. This is the 4, or this was 6, 4, 8. Okay, yeah. So, and then I'm gonna fold here at the 2. Again, I'm just making sure that everything lines up here and here. All right. So we got that. And then here is the 8 score mark. Again, just lining everything up. And here's the 10 score mark. And you can fold it either way. We're gonna do a little bit of a flipping around. I just want to make sure that I'm getting the score mark folded appropriately, because that's the important part. Okay, so now that we got all of that, I can then tuck this in to show you the accordion. Okay, so this is what the accordion folds look like. Okay, it's this. So you have this one, you have that one, and then these can fold backwards. Okay, it doesn't really matter at this point. You just want to get it, you know. So there's that. I know it's hard to see because this is a lined graphics page, but this is what you'll end up with at the very end. Now, I have some off folds on here, and this is the time to really straighten everything up. And I'm just going to push this back on itself and find the correct fold mark right there. Okay, so again, the folds are what's important. Here's another fold that's really important. It's the one that goes from here to here. Again, you want to leave yourself a little bit of a space from here to here. Make sure that it's even. Get you close up. Okay, let my camera focus. There we go. We want to make sure that this space and that space are very much aligned with each other. They're even. I want to do the same thing over here. We're going to fold this one over. And we just want to make sure that everything's lined up, right? You want to give yourself enough space so that when you fold everything over, it all lines up. So again, we're going to do the same thing here in the middle. We're going to fold this over. And then we're going to fold this side over. Okay, leaving again space in the middle, so that when this folds, it doesn't impede. All right, and we're going to do it backwards as well because we need it to tuck under. Remember that little process? Okay, and we'll do this side also. I'm going to zoom you guys back out. I guess you guys get the gist because my camera's having a hard time focusing as I slide the paper from side to side. Okay, but here, I'll just zoom you guys back out a little bit. And then we'll do the same thing for this side right here. Boom. And then this side right here. Okay, and we'll flip it out. And we'll do it again. So this right here is creating more tucks. When you score your page with more folds, or when you create more folds, basically, you'll end up with more tuck spots, and I'll show you guys what I have in the realm of that situation. Okay, so here's what we've got. Again, we're going to unfold all of our paper. Okay, and we want to get these little triangles facing downwards. So that's why we folded that section double. So we folded it on two sides. We got this folded down. We've got this easier to fold down, and we'll have a little bump in the paper this way. Sorry. Okay, so then again, this little section needs to go down, this little triangle, and this little triangle right here needs to go down. So we'll do that. Okay, right up to there. Okay, and we also want our little end peaks to face downwards as well. Okay, so now we have ourselves this. Once you fold it all up, you should end up with a little boat. This might be a yacht. This one's so big. Alright, let's do that. Get that folded. Again, you want to continue with the accordion style. Okay. And okay, so yeah, we did end up with a boat, the same way that we've done in previous projects. So, open it up. We are going to fold this section downward. And once you start to fold this part down, you'll notice that these want to raise up. Okay, they're pulling because you have a spine here, like a similar situation to a book spine, right? So you have a spine there. You want to just force everything to lay flat. Okay, and then you're going to flip your page, do the same thing here in the second section. And once you start to fold this over, this little triangle section, everything's going to want to lift up. You just give it a push. Just push everything back down so that it's nice and straight and even. Do the same thing over here. Okay, so we end up with that. And then you can flip the whole thing over and do the exact same thing again. I'm just going to go a little bit faster here. Okay, and again, just push everything flat. And then you end up with the, and this is such a pretty design. Striped paper gives it such a pretty finished look, you know, like look at that. It's like it goes on forever and ever and ever. Like, that is so cool. So anyway, that's what we end up with at the end, okay, which can then go into this project, which I started, right? I have one. How many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can now add this 5th one into here. And this is what I was referring to when I told you, like, if you have a little bit overhang, see that? A little overhang right there. You just cut it off. Okay, it doesn't change the amount of space that you have between here and here to tuck anything into. You just snip that little section off, and now I have another little accordion jacket pocket thingy that can go here. And again, I left this one expandable. This spine is probably about 1.5 inches, so I ended up with room to grow this project just a little bit further, so I can add maybe 1, maybe 2 more. I can probably do 2 more of these to fit into this spine. And then of course this will be my front cover, which would go just like so. And here's the back cover, and there's the spine. All right, so again, you just glue this section down to this section and just line it up and glue it in. And then you have another, let's see, 1, 2, 3, wait, sorry, 2, 4, 6 more pockets to add things to. All right, so that's what you get. That's what you get when you add another 2 score marks to the project. I did 3 score marks on this one every 3 inches, so 3, 6, and 9. I did 4 score marks on this one, 2, 4, 6, oh, I'm sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. I did 5 score marks on this one. So yeah, you end up with more tuck spots when you do more score marks. And again, this is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and this is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Nothing changed except for the number of score marks, which creates either this size spine or tuck spot, or this size spine or tuck spot. All right, I hope you guys understand what I meant by any of that. I hope it all makes sense to you, or it will once you try this project. One more really quick little thing. 6 by 6, I'm sorry, 6 by 12. All right, this is a 6 by 12. Let's find one with lines on it. I like that. All right, this is a 6 by 12 sheet of paper. I am going to score this at every 2 inches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. All right, that we're going to do the same folds to it, and it will end up looking like this. Okay, this is what a 6 by 6 scored paper would look, I'm sorry, 6 by 12 scored paper would look like. You do the exact same folds, tucks, etc., and then you can tuck little things like little mini journals in there, right? That's stupid cute. All right, so yeah, I just tucked the little couple of pages that I folded over and stapled, right? So you can make yourself little mini journals just by scoring a 6 by 12 sheet of paper every 2 inches. So there'll be 5 score marks on that. And I'll just show you guys what a little cutesy little thing like this looks like in a junk journal. It's like a little pop-up, right? A little surprise. So in between my journal, I have signatures, and in between the signatures there's like a little gap right here. Okay, so that's why I decided I'm gonna pop one of these little guys in, leaving room for it to open and close, leaving room for my journal to still be functional. Okay, but yeah, one of these little guys, just something so adorable in the middle of a journal where you have a unused space like so. I'm just gonna add some glue to it, just so you know. I'm serious about this. I'm definitely doing this. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of glue. This is my what is this, my art glitter glue, so it's very permanent. It'll stick in no time. I'm just gonna find the center, which I know it's like right here where my spine, my signature spine is located, and I'm just gonna add this little guy right in here. You want to get it straight if you can, straight as possible. Okay, and you can glue down one side, you can glue both sides. I think I'm just going to leave one side glued down for now. Okay, this way that'll dry, but I'm just going to flip that over on top of itself, and then you can see it doesn't make your journal any more chunky than it would normally be, because once you start adding things to your journal, like little pockets and tucks and folds and all these little doodads and whatnot, it's gonna become a chunky monkey anyway. So yeah, I just added one of these to the center of my journal, and you can do this on any signature in any section of your journal, wherever you find like your spine has a little bit of a gap or too much space or whatever. You can just pop one of these in there, and it's like a cute little surprise. Okay, all right guys, I have chewed your heads off enough today. Okay, showed you guys a nice new little project. Give it a try. If you do, comment in the section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I don't know what happened to my Chronicles of a Crafter little emblem thing that I had here on my desk. I may have taken it out west, but whatever. I'll probably reach out to my Gracie Crafty Closet and see if she'll make me another one for while I'm here in my Orlando craft room. But I want you guys to stay naturally curious. Go do something wonderful. Try this project. Again, if you do, comment down below. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.